All right, let's do this. All right, call to order the regular board meeting of commissioners for November 18th at 7 o'clock. Please call the roll.
Slayer.
Here.
Druin.
Here.
Bell.
Here.
Tillman.
Here. All right, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Anything to be added, removed, or changed on the agenda today?
There is none.
Lovely. All right, I would like to entertain a motion to establish the consent agenda as follows. It'll include the regular board meetings from October 21st, special board meeting from October 28th, paid expenditures, expense approval report, investment summary, income statement, purchases, and ordinance number 425 for surplus property.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Bell, second by Druin. Please call the roll.
Bell.
Aye.
Druin.
Aye.
Slayer. Aye. Tillman.
Aye, motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda as established.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Bell, second by Druin. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, guest matters from the public. Done. Item number 7, matters from commissioners. What y'all got?
Well, I'm sure we're going to be touching on this, but congratulations. This is fantastic, right?
Yes.
All
staff
Very
and board for
exciting.
supporting us.
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody. Well
But not
done,
just this.
As always.
Yeah, not just this, but also Women Run
Yes.
is also.
Yeah,
Thank
congratulations.
you for keeping me employed.
That's a huge accomplishment. I think it's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely.
All right. I gotta get to the right page. Sorry. Okay. All right. Item number. Oh, sorry. Did anybody have anything else? Good. Okay. Item number 8, correspondence. We have several. A letter from Margaret Steck thanking us for cleaning up the pond, so that's being noticed, which is awesome.
That's nice.
Also, a letter from our risk management for $2,900 in audit reimbursement, right? That's awesome. And looks like a letter also, actually, I think this was an email to the park board for adopting, asking us to adopt a policy for prohibiting U.S. Immigration and Customs in our park district facilities, and an email from another resident for to take the maximum effort and basically the same thing. So if we can make sure all those are on file, that would be great. And now, boom, item number 9A, strategic master plan.
All right, it's my great pleasure to introduce to you Nilay Bhatt of Next Practice Partners. He will present an overview of the strategic master plan and community needs assessment findings.
I check, oh, mood lighting, look at that.
Yeah.
After such an incredible Italian meal and food, this is not a good idea. Start turning the lights dimmer now. Do I need this? Yes? Or?
You're fine.
Okay, can you hear me? Because okay, it's working, right? Oh, brilliant, all right. Great, so good afternoon, everybody. They asked us to keep it short, so I promise I'll be done by about 10:30.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Just checking if you're listening. But, it's true. We've obviously spoken virtually as well. We spend a lot of time with the staff, and this is an exciting milestone to get to a point where these are the findings up to this point. There's really no pressure, no action to be taken. No one's asking, what's in your wallet? Really the idea is, so
He really does work for Capital
that's
One.
exactly what I said. That's what I said. He looked at me, we got it. If you know, you know. But really just bring you up to speed on what we've heard across the community, what we've assessed and observed as a team as well. And again, to reiterate the fact that not only do you have a top-notch staff, but as you already mentioned, if you see on the next slide as well, You have an absolutely well-deserved and award-winning staff. So, round of applause for your team, everybody. Well done again.
Only
So-
3 more times.
Yeah. No, obviously we've met, but just a quick introduction. If you see on the next slide, just about us as Next Practice partners. The idea, as the philosophy and the ethos goes, we're not used to doing things the way they've always been done or preserving status quo. Not as Batavia Park District, which is why this is such a great fit as well. And we've been fortunate over the years to work all over Illinois and across the world. In addition to our team members, I have Sarah Sahani as well, who is a machine learning, artificial intelligence, and data expert as well. Whether it's in law or philanthropy, trust me, she can help you get things taken care of. But in addition to that, we also have our partners on the next slide, Kimley Horn, who are right here in Warrenville, but also all over the country as well. And they'll share some of their findings in terms of the park assessments and what they've observed and some of the key recommendations too. A partner not here as well is ETC Institute. They are the statistically reliable survey firm that has done a survey only of the Park District residents. And we're going to be sharing a lot of those findings with you as well, because that is the most defensible and representative data of your constituents that you're going to get. So with that, a quick background and snapshot. I'm not going to get into too much details. Just some of the agencies we've been fortunate to work with in and around you. Gold medal agencies, best places to work all over the country, and then agencies across the world. And for those committed to youth sports, I was fortunate to work at the Disney, ESPN Wide World of Sports, the Olympics, Super Bowl, and a few other places. So now raising and coaching a 12-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter, I appreciate what you've done as well and keep doing. But this is not about us, this is about Batavia, and I want to start with a quick headline here, which is the 10-minute walk. Nationally, about 55% of all residents in the community have access to a park in a 10-minute walk. Your number is nearly 4 and 5, which is absolutely outstanding. And as you see in this survey and the needs, there's always more that people would want and would love to see as well. So some quick things. This plan's built into really 3 major steps as well. The first one is discovery, right? We've talked to a lot of you as well and the input from the community. In addition to that as well, as we see in person, online, we built a dedicated multilingual and ADA accessible website. yourfunisOurbusiness.com. I'm going to ask you the name of this website at the end of this meeting. If you don't know, you're going to have to spend the night here. But in addition to that as well, we also went through and projected the demographic numbers, the projections as well. There is a marginal decrease, but the reality is beyond 2020, nobody really knows what the actual numbers are. These are simply estimates, and they very well could change and evolve as well, especially given the kind of investments you're doing in quality of life and place, which is what is driving a lot of movement for where people want to call home, or where companies want to call home, or families want to move back to. Besides the population as well, as you see the rest of the demographics, you continue to diversify from a race and ethnicity standpoint, but are still a majority white-only community, as the census would call it. In addition to that, from an age standpoint, you are certainly aging rapidly on the top right, as you would look at it. And I refuse to call them seniors. They do not behave like it. They're very much active adults. But more than 1 in 3 people, the largest group in the next 15 years, or 10 years really, is going to be 55 and older. And we're already seeing such a big shift between the 55 to 74 and the 75 plus. They recreate very differently. And so again, as you plan for the future, what is that going to look like when you think of less than 20% of the population that's under 18, younger families and kids, and 55 plus and older making up over 33% of the population. In addition to that, you already know this, but this is a community that is higher than average income individually. And if you see in the blue bar, that's the household income, which is anybody over the age of 16 collectively living under the same roof. Above average income levels, higher than average expectations of service quality and offerings that you have as well. And that certainly bears out in what you provide for the community. In addition to the DEMS, we looked at the trends as well. And this is called Market Potential Index, right? I'm just glad I told the staff this, that finally they're tracking pickleball. Because for the longest time I would present this and the obvious question was, but where's pickleball? And I would counter back saying, but where's cricket? Well, that's the story for another day.
Rolling
Yeah.
Meadows has
There you go.
a
Yeah.
couple of suburbs up there. Have
Schaumburg has a lot of them as well, right?
played on their parks.
But the blue bar is the national average of 100. So what this tells me, and this is based on ESRI, Environmental Systems Research Institute, that any number over 100 is the likelihood of your population participating in that activity, whether it's within Batavia or outside. So pickleball has a 42% higher participation likelihood from Batavia Park District residents, wherever they may participate. As you see the others as well, fitness, almost every single one is higher than national averages. And this is a really interesting, indicator as you think of future recreation amenities as well and fitness recreation offerings for the broader community. Outdoor activities as well, a large number of them again have higher than national average numbers for participation. So you've got a community that is aging, diversifying, higher income, that loves the outdoors, that loves physical and fitness activities and a number of different sports as well. That's sort of what the population is today and where they're going. And so as we look at the plan in the future, this was the most defensible tool that we wanted to ensure you get the input from. Of course, in addition to this, we've done multiple public meetings. We've had stakeholder focus groups, staff meetings as well. But all of that were subjective and they depend on who shows up. So you know this, if 100 people like me showed up to those meetings, you all better believe the most important thing in Batavia is cricket fields. And that's not true, which is why, if you can go back for a second, which is why we had to do something that's scientific and reliable. So this survey is comprised of the questions that mirror some of the ones that were done earlier as well, so as to have some benchmarking information, but also a lot of the choices were based on what we heard from the community and trying to understand, is what we heard being validated, or is that a large special interest group that managed to bring all their friends to that one public meeting and stack the deck. Well, some of the encouraging parts are these are first mailed independently by ADC Institute. They're random, they're anonymous. We have no control who gets it. Curious, by the way, did any of you get it?
I did.
Okay, brilliant. Did you take it?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we know the survey works. It went to some people, and that's the beauty of the process, right? It's random, it's anonymous, and you will see at the end, it mirrors the demographics of the community. We had 300 as a sample size required for statistical reliability. This is a sign of a really engaged community. We had nearly 20% more completed responses. Each response represents actually one entire household, right? So we have 361 households respond to this. At a 10% response rate, you probably had 2,000 or 3,000 that were mailed out, right? They are the option of an online or a phone survey as well. And look, for any process like this, for it to be defensible, you have to be able to repeat it again and again and have consistent results. What the numbers in the mumbo jumbo really tell us is that 95 out of 100 times, if I were to repeat the process, the results you're about to see would be in a margin of error of plus or minus about 5%. That is what makes this reliable, because you now know with a degree of certainty that the results are within a certain range every single time. So, some quick background on who took the survey. It's a really wide cross-section on the next slide, as you see, for how long people have lived within the park district. Right? On one hand, you see about 20% of them have lived here for less than 5 years. But then you also have over 40% that have lived here for more than 20 years. Right? So you've got a broad cross-section of people, some that are very new, and are just trying to understand what's happening as well and getting familiar with the offerings. And many others who know things the way they've always been or a certain way, and either have a sense of nostalgia or a desire for change, right? In addition to that as well, we also asked about how many people in the household fall within different age groups. Because the reality is, look, I'm not going to get a 16-year-old to paper fill out a 6-page survey. But I do want to know, folks, when they respond, that do you have a 7-year-old or a 15-year-old or a 21-year-old or an 85-year-old living in your home? So when you think of recreation offerings, are you thinking of the whole household? So that was the context which we had respondents think of when they respond to the survey. So when I'm answering, it's not just for me, it's for my 8-year-old daughter and my 71-year-old mother and everybody in between, right? So some of the key findings from that, in terms of what people have used as well over the last 12 months, first one should not be a surprise at all, but by far the number one as well, right? Significantly more than anything else. Now they could choose multiple options, so it wasn't either or, people could choose every one of them in terms of where they have visited in the last 12 months. Now in addition to just visitation once, the next slide talks about frequency of visitation as well, right? And this is where, as you look where they've gone most often, you will see some changes here. For example, if you look at the Depot Museum on the previous slide, for just a second please, you have a number of people that have gone there as well. Almost 32% have visited in the last 12 months. But in the following slide, if you see, in terms of repeat visitation, only 8% have that, right? So there are some places you have that are one-off visits that people may go once a year, and then you may have a place like the Riverwalk where between the playgrounds or the special events or just casual recreation and walking, people go again and again and again, right? So that's an encouraging sign in terms of the kinds of places that have a lot of repeat visitation and you have a clear-cut number one place to go to. In addition to that, on the next slide as well, as you'll see, right, satisfaction levels, if you see the small red bar at the very bottom right, that is the percentage of people who are dissatisfied, 4%, which if you remember the margin of error falls literally within your margin of error, and no matter what you do in life, you're going to have 4% of the people unhappy with you, right? Your worst number is 88% are satisfied or very satisfied, right? That's literally your worst number when it comes to cleanliness, maintenance, and upkeep. Otherwise, everything is absolutely fantastic. And again, in our assessments, and Chris will speak to that in a few moments as well, you'll certainly see this play out too. On the next slide, what is preventing people from coming or visiting more often? And you'll see lack of amenities. The second one though, we didn't see this till the last 3 or 4 years, but everywhere we go now, we see this, right? And look, part of this is we're seeing people stay longer in the parks. They love the parks, they love the outdoors. The longer you stay, let's face it, the more likely you're to want to have to go to the bathroom, whether it's you, or you have a child, or you have an older family member. And that's what we see drive a lot of that as well. And then people are using other facilities and other places as well because of what we may not have here. And you'll see some of those choices in a moment too. So on the next slide, when they seek information, where and how are they currently seeking? There are no surprises again. By far the number one is your fun guide, which is excellent. I know we're reducing the frequency a bit, but people still like it. It's beautifully designed, great storytelling. And then as you see the Batavia magazine, right, website, Facebook, so some of them are the same. What's more encouraging though is how people want to be communicated in the future. If you look at the next slide, the alignment between what you are currently doing and how they want to be communicated with is perfect, which gives a great sense that staff knows where the community is, how they wish to be communicated with, and that's largely what they're doing as well, right? So on the next slide here, this is in terms of programs or event participation as well. Where do they go, or which ones do they participate in? Again, no surprises, special events always tend to be among the highest, and that's what you're consistently seeing here as well. But interestingly, 1 in 4 have not participated in anything, right? So that's a great opportunity for us to say, one, is that awareness? Is it interest? Is it something else? And what might some of those reasons be for why they are not participating in these as well? In terms of overall satisfaction, those same 3%, no matter what you do, unhappy, which in this case turned out to be 9 people, right? So I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's 9 households that, I don't know why you would take a 6-page survey to tell you I'm unhappy about everything,
I'm sure.
right? But
I'm sure they've been in our meeting.
yeah, I mean, right, you probably, every community has those, 3%. But again, look, overall, very encouraging, 87% are satisfied or very satisfied. What we told the staff though is in keeping with a next practice agency in the spirit of continuous improvement, what we'd love to see is, can you shrink the number of people that rate you as satisfied and grow the ones that say very satisfied, right? Can you reverse the percentage that you have as well, right? So in some ways going from good to great and staying great, right? And that's probably the difference between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Chicago Bulls, right? You can win one championship, cool. Can you keep winning them again and again, right? And so that's really the goal as well. In terms of barriers, again, what prevents them? The first one, none of us can control. I'm too busy, not interested, that's life, right? It's what it is right now. People have weapons of mass distraction in their hands, and it's hard to compete with TikToks and Disney Pluses and Netflixes of the world. But other than that, if you look at the next three, right? Time's not convenient, operating hours not convenient, programs not offered. We, at least in our opinion, we believe some of that ties back to the kind of spaces you do or really don't have, right? These multi-purpose indoor recreation spaces that allow for all these uses, because currently, as we talk with the staff, you're choosing between either offering a program or renting the space, right? And that really creates sort of this dichotomy of which one do we do when, weekdays, weekends, mornings, evenings, versus if you have spaces that offer multiple offerings, you can do a lot of these as well. These are probably the percentage of people that said they go to other districts or other places for their offerings too. On the next slide then, as you see, and these are in a sequence of questions, right? So you've got the first one where we had a list of 30 some options for programs and activities. And then for all of them, they were said, do you have a need for this? Yes or no. That's it. The next piece then, you're asked for the same options to say, is your need being met? Is it fully met? Is it completely not met? Somewhat met or partially, right? And the idea is anyone that says what you see in gray or red, that's partly met or not met, we think of those as unmet needs. So the idea is not focusing on what's a need, it's focusing on what's an unmet need in order to provide those. You'll see a couple of them at the bottom, water fitness programs and lap swim and swim lessons, and you know exactly why that's an unmet need, right? However, I can also guarantee you that there is a huge unmet need in Batavia for underwater basket viewing. But is it really important to anybody? Maybe to two people. So the balance for you is not just what's an unmet need, is it also important to the community? And that's what you see on the next slide as well. Adult fitness and wellness programs, special events, non-athletic programs as well, right? Those are among the highest ones when people have to choose only the top four. When they ask about need, I can say I have a need for everything, right? All I want is everything. What I want to pay for? Nothing, right? So it's the balancing of, again, is this important? Is this a need and is that unmet? Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. So when you go through this list, and we'll go through all of these here, the prioritization comes down to what's the greatest good for the greatest number of people. The ones that the household say is most important, and I have a need that is unmet, goes to the top. So perfect example, water is really, really, really important to me. I have a need for water? Yes. Right now, it's not an unmet need. If this were empty, it would be. So don't keep giving me more water, give me chocolate cake, right? So it doesn't mean that chocolate cake is more important, but right now, that's not the highest priority because needs are met. So you may see things here like sports fields that are very important to the community, but they're not high unmet needs. Flip side, splash pads, aquatic features, some other elements, indoor recreation spaces are important, and needs that are just largely unmet. So that's what you're going to see play out as you see the next one here for outdoor facility and amenities. And this is a recurring theme in the country, is trails, but then you've got restrooms, picnic areas and shelters, amphitheater, outdoor pools, flushable toilets. I never thought I would see them in the top 5. Flushable toilets.
Classy.
More than pickle. If you'd said someday we would see a need for more toilets versus pickleball courts, I would have never believed you. And here we are, right? But again, that's the need, as we talked about earlier. Also, as you look at the next slide, unmet needs, right? And this is where you'll see outdoor playground and splash pad at the bottom is the largest unmet need. Right after that is enhanced flushable toilets. Now again, but this is not the full picture, because look at what else is a high unmet need. 18 and 9-hole disc golf courses, right? They are a higher unmet need than an off-leash dog park. However, are they important? And if you see on the next slide, they are 4th and 5th from the bottom, right? So again, that's why we can't just take any single one of them, right? But when I combine all of them together, you can see playgrounds, outdoor pools, flushable toilets are among the top 5 most important and the second highest unmet need.
What's an enhanced flushable toilet?
I
What's
don't
the
know if I
enhanced
wanna
part?
know.
I think it's different semantics as well. It's whether it's having toilets, in some cases just having restrooms, because people are going so much more to the parks and you have so many of them. They want, the sense is it seems they want a restroom in every park, right? And it's not feasible in the smaller mini parks, neighborhood parks to always have that. That's not the design guidelines, but people want them because they're staying longer. Then you add the elements of, we have one, but can it be flushable? Can it be enhanced with flushable options or other, porta potty style places, something else that's there, at least something to be there as well, right?
And I worked with Neela and ETC on the survey, and the enhanced in my eyes was like if there's like a sink option or,
I see.
hand drying option, so.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just the
Just-
bathroom, it's a little bit more comprehensive. Kind of like golf course, what you expect if you enter inside a bathroom inside a golf course.
Sure. Okay,
Gustin?
thank you.
Yeah. And so then the
Maybe
same,
disco lights, but not that. Sorry.
no. Do you have them with a valet standing for you, right? With a napkin, spray some, perfume on you, right? In addition to outdoor facility amenities, then we did the same thing for indoor facility amenities. Again, no surprise on the top 2, right? It's the walking, jogging track and the indoor pool, and we consistently see that as the highest priorities, right? So if you start tracking some of these connected threads in terms of participation trends, a lot of your fitness and recreation activities are all higher than national averages. You talked about barriers to participation, people go to other places, or they say you don't have the programs or the times or the hours of operation when you want. And then you see what they want here, and what we do have here. We've got indoor rec spaces, but not the ones that allow for multiple uses across multiple ages in the same place at the same time, right? So that's sort of the continuous sort of thread as you see across all these survey results. And same thing here, from the need we go to the unmet need on the next slide. And again, you see those same at the very bottom being just completely unmet. Right? And it's not like these people, don't have access to other places. If they could, they would have driven somewhere else, and if they have been driving, then they would say, it's not an unmet need because I'm able to go somewhere else. But the fact is they're not, right? So it's either that they are coming to us, or they would, or they just wouldn't, right? And that's what we're seeing here right now as well. So far so good? Okay. So then you see the same thing in terms of what's most important as well. The theme continues, right? In terms of the top 4 most important, again, you'll see those as well in terms of the swimming pool and the walking, running, jogging track. Right? So then we got into what is it that people feel that the district and the offerings benefit. And virtually everything makes Batavia a great place to live, increases the quality of life and place, physical, social, mental, emotional well-being, property values, so on and so forth. So generally, people recognize this is more than just a nice-to-have amenity. This is essential for a wide variety of quality of life indicators and what makes this a community of choice. So then, so all this is great, but on the next slide, as you see here as well, right, where else are you going? And again, you see the options here as well. We see the library quite a bit because oftentimes there are some similarities in the kinds of offerings, but they're usually free, right, or not charged as well. So sometimes people do happen to go there as well, but the rest are, neighboring park districts. So you've got, again, more than 2 out of 5 people from Batavia going to other park districts because they don't have what they would want and be willing to pay for right here, right? And then same again, aquatic, facilities, private clubs. You start seeing a theme now, right? The recreation, the aquatics components, a lot of that are what are driving our residents to other places as well. So then, if people are going to other places and they want to see things here, the question is, you've got to put your money where your mouth is, and where would you spend the money? This is probably one of the more unique ones we have seen, where if I take just 2 items, right? Normally when we see this, the number one thing we hear from folks is improve or maintain what you have. you all have done such a good job in the last 10 years of upgrading what you have and maintaining it. That's not a very high priority. Only 14 cents on every dollar was desired to be spent there. However, just two things. Build a rec center with an indoor pool and have additional trails makes up for literally 50 cents of every dollar. Half of all spending only on those two items. Right? If I take, in a different vein, the rec center with an indoor pool and a fitness center, and then develop the new indoor multi-sports fields, which is $3, basically 2 out of 5 or 41% of all spending, they wanted to be on indoor sports, recreation, fitness, and aquatics. Right? That's a massive, massive allocation. We typically don't see something as big as this. But again, it's an indicator of where the community's priorities might be as well. Right? So then from there on, right, as we start looking at, what are some of the other things they'd want or the kind of improvements, on the next slide, please. Right? Majority of them said they don't see any changes necessary at the Depot Museum, right? So almost 40% said, no, this is fine. But some of the other things I'd like to see, a wider variety of programs, more children's programs, more exhibits that are engaging the households and so on as well. So ultimately, and this is where the rubber meets the road, right? You think of the question of, is this important to the residents as well? Someone went through 40 slides and questions to say, no, parks are not important. I do not want programs. I do not want events.
We know who that is.
So, but again, this is as clear a mandate as you can get from a community. We usually see this number pretty high. It's usually in the 80s. 94% is just, it's with a 5% margin of error, this is near unanimous, right? So that's an outstanding number as well to have. And no pressure, that's the expectation of all of you, because they expect, that's why they want to be here, right? So just the last couple of slides after this on the survey front as well. This is what makes it statistically reliable, right? A near even split based on the gender as well, as people have responded to this too, across users, non-users, and only your residents, right? And then the last piece here is, in terms of race and ethnicity, again, mirrors the community's demographics. It's skewed, but it's also because the community's demographics are skewed, right? So this is why we can put so much weight on it, ultimately to show you the priorities for investment that are the high, medium, and low priorities because of how the sampling, the respondent mix makes up as well. And that's where you can see adult fitness and wellness programs are by far the number one. That reflects what you saw with your aging and active adult population. In addition to that, non-athletic adult activities as well. Fox River is really high too. Other special events and water fitness programs and swimming. Right? So if you think of at least 3 of the top 5 elements, you think in terms of aquatics, you think in terms of adult fitness and wellness programs as well, or a variety of non-athletic programs and offerings, all of those could really come under one roof if you had one building that had all of that, for example, right? So that's why as you think of priorities, those are the ones you look at, and the ones that are lower, a number of them are your athletic, sports, etc. You're doing a better job meeting those needs. Not that it's not important, you still have to keep doing that, and it's a lower priority because it's a lower unmet need for the community currently. Right? This was done after the pickleball courts were open. Brent, we confirmed that, right? So I want to keep that in mind, because if someone does question why are pickleball courts so low, it's because it's not as high an unmet need anymore, right? On the other end, if you look at some of the ones on the top, enhanced flushable toilets, you're going to be saying this in your sleep tonight. You're going to be saying this in your sleep. But look at, again, natural areas and open space. I love that you see more and more about natural areas and open space, because again, people are valuing that more, especially since the pandemic. But after that, it's playground, splash pad, and then the pool as well, right? This is for outdoor facility amenities. The maximum possible you can get a score of is 200, right? 100 for importance, 100 for a weighted average of what is a need that is unmet, so unmet need. So in this case, let's just say outdoor pool is 110. If you see on the next one, for indoor facility amenities, indoor pool is 194. An indoor walking, jogging track is 200 out of 200, the maximum possible, right? Again, I know we all see also dollar signs with this, so I'm not trying to say this is all fun and games and it's easy, and at the same time, these are massive community priorities, right? So as you look at that, this is one data set, but the most defensible one as well. And from here on, we started then also assessing the actual offerings that you provide programmatically, and staff did a terrific job in providing the data for us as well. So we look at on the next slide, the 9 core program areas that staff identified under which the majority of the offerings currently fall. This is meant to be an ongoing exercise, so you can see for a number of metrics, every program area is tracked, and you can see as a trend across the programs where there might be opportunities or gaps. One of the ones we discussed that staff has already started implementing in small parts now is the prime time versus non-prime time pricing. And we discussed as the analogy to say, if you're flying over Thanksgiving versus a random Thursday, you're going to pay more. People expect that. Why shouldn't we have something similar if you're renting this on a holiday weekend versus a weekday night, right? And so just things of that sort as well is as we build these further, it ensures that what you price reflects the value of the experience and the exclusivity that one is going to get for it. Some other elements here as well on the programming side too, is in terms of the ages served, right? Again, a wide variety. Where I think there will be room to improve and we'll continue growing is in the 55 plus, right? Nationally, about 25% of all offerings are in that range. We're close, we're at 22%, but our population is going to be 36% over 55 in the next 10 years. So this is an annual exercise to ensure that we keep rebalancing who we're targeting and who's actually being offered to as well with the programs. In addition to that, this is again very, very encouraging as you think in terms of your focus on financial sustainability as well. On the pricing strategy slide, we saw that one of the areas you did cover was someone's ability to pay, which is scholarships, which is really important. And at the same time, if you look at the benefits here as well, right, as you look at the individual blend, that's where the majority of the programs fall, as community individual blend, and then the individual benefit, and ultimately with the individual benefit, the idea is the ones who benefit are the ones who should pay. So you as a district subsidize those a lot less, because if an individual is renting this place, you shouldn't have to subsidize that, they should be paying for it. And that's what you see as well as you go forward too, right, is in terms of the level of subsidy that you're providing. Nationally, 32% of programs are fully subsidized, which means they make little to no money. In your case, it's only 10%. All the rest fall in various ranges as well, from being self-sufficient or being able to recover some additional revenue in order to ensure that 10% of programs that are subsidized continue to do so, and the ones that do need the scholarships are not priced out. And I shared this in the meeting with the staff as well to say, this is a great example of seeing an agency that is balancing financial sustainability with just humanity, right? It's just ensuring that people who rely on us for these offerings are not priced out, because if they don't come to you, they may not have anywhere else to go. Right? So a couple of other quick things in terms of program distribution. This is a life cycle and speaks in terms of the innovation pipeline. This is an area of opportunity for us, right? If you look at the very bottom, the decline and cancel programs, about 15% of our programs fall in that categories versus about 11%. So not a huge difference, but certainly an area to improve. And we discussed that maybe in the next 5 or 10 years, you set a benchmark or a metric to say, can we be less than national average, right? So can we be at 10% cancellation or 5% for those? And the ones that are declining, but we're offering because the same 3 people will complain to you if you don't offer them. At some point, do you divest of those programs and introduce new ones to keep that program, again, pipeline the innovation going as well? Okay? So that's where I'll turn it over to Chris to talk about the assessment criteria of the parks and the facilities.
Thank you very much. So as Neela had introduced, I'm Chris Wilson with Kinley Horn. We're a multidisciplinary consultant firm and actually the largest landscape architecture and urban planning firm in the US. So a lot of experience, and as we are assisting next practice partners in this part of the planning process, we're looking at the parks and facilities. So what I have up here, just as a quick overview, is the assessment criteria. So this is how we look at each of the components of parks and facilities. We're talking every single, bench, trash can, all the way up to sports fields and things like that. We grade it based on a list of A through F. A being excellent, then you have good, fair, poor, and critical. Critical is essentially dangerous, liability issues, and things like that. One thing to kind of take into consideration though, I'm sure all of you were straight A students. A is phenomenal, and in this grading, C is actually standard. C is fine. C is not amazing, it's not great, but it's also not bad. So C is something that you want to see as sort of like a baseline. You want to have a good handful of Bs, and then A's are usually reserved for the best 2, 3 maybe parks or facilities in a district. And something that we found very interesting, if you can go to the next slide, we have a lot of A's and a lot of B's as well. So overall, everything was coming back with very high, good, excellent ratings. I'm sure you're noticing a couple of pieces up there that might not, up there. So absolutely nothing was an F. So fantastic job there. Everything being C and above, except for a couple of, individual facilities. I don't think any of the parks, none of the parks were D, is phenomenal. So this is just a great show of the high quality of all of the parks and facilities through the district. Now, looking at all of this, we kind of had a couple of big takeaways for general items. If you can go to the next. So some of our just general findings, things that we saw common throughout, this isn't necessarily every single case, but it's common cases. Excellent maintenance was by far the most clear and obvious one. Is parks and facilities are absolutely excellently taken care of. They're clean, very well maintained. There are opportunities, if you go to the next, for improvements in a couple of places here or there, but in general, they're fairly minor. And as we've talked with staff, these kind of things are already known and planned to be taken care of. So that's great. Examples of some of the furnishings that we've seen, we have very excellent, very either new or incredibly well taken care of, accessible, a lot of amenities that were really, really nice throughout the district. There are some that are aging, some that maybe need to be phased out, so opportunities to either replace them or remove them. It depends on the park and the facility throughout the district, but there's a few options. Play equipment was one that we've seen very excellent and very good throughout all of the parks. It's a good show of a planned rotational replacement and maintenance done. So there isn't like a grouping of perfect brand new and a grouping of very old, poor equipment. Everything is rotated through very well. There's a couple of opportunities still, but very minimal. Similarly with courts, we have a lot of courts that are shown, to be well maintained, crack repair, coloring, furnishings are either new or incredibly well taken care of. But of course, there are opportunities to improve on that, either switching out some of the furnishings to it, the components to it, maybe resurfacing and things like that. Signage is another one that is, I know, in plan to rotate out and improve on the general signage for all of the different parks and such. But some of the older pieces could be, either refurbished, redone, or just removed, depending. Surfacing and accessibility. Accessibility is a very important piece to the park district because we want to be inclusive and involve everybody. In general, accessibility is really high in the park district, so it was very good. There are some opportunities to improve. Nothing that I would say stood out as a critical accessibility issue, but there are definitely things that are trending towards there, so that goes into the maintaining and keeping up with accessibility throughout the district. And then finally, just some initial recommendations and takeaways. This doesn't necessarily take into consideration the survey information, the level of service, or anything else like that yet. This is just an overall recommendations of what we had seen based on these assessments. We have two different categories here. The first category is maintain. This is the kind of stuff that we see as what can you afford and do right now with what you have. So maintain, continue, and how can you improve with what you have. The expand section is something to look at as a future, a goal, a big picture item, things to strive for, but not necessarily something you might be able to afford at the moment. So as you're reading through a few of those things on there, there's a couple I want to point out, specifically on maintain. Obviously, surfacing and things like that, maintaining that, keeping it accessible and safe, especially walking trails and networks with how important that is to the community. Maintaining those is a very critical item. And then moving on to expand, there is, as you've heard multiple times, expanding opportunities for indoor facilities specifically to, recreation and sports. And then we have splash pad or a spray park. And then another item here, retire, demolish old or dangerous facilities. So there were some facilities that didn't rank an F, but they are trending towards that where, it's no longer in the maintain section because of the cost to upkeep. So that we move into the expand section to either remove or replace. And I will hand it back to
Well, I
them.
find that interesting because one of them was Shannon Hall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why was that ranked so low?
That is a great one. As we were walking through, there was, and I don't have necessarily the list with me, but as far as, things like the windows, the surfacing, accessibility, there was not a lot of amenities. You don't have a toilet facility. There's a lot of different pieces to it that we would really typically see in a facility, and because it's just not a normal standard type of facility, it doesn't meet the rating.
Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily mean Shannon Hall. Shannon Hall is absolutely beautiful.
No, we're not turning it down.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But there's a lot of facilities and components.
I think those are things, we should probably talk about, because some of those could just be signage. There's bathrooms in there.
Yeah.
But they're obviously
Are they
not,
accessible?
right, they're obviously not accessible or well marked.
Right.
So, all right, I get it now.
Yeah, that's helpful to
That could be
read.
There you go.
Yeah.
Turning it back to Neely. Thank you.
And so just really in terms of next steps here, we're also doing a couple of really cool things that have not been done in the Parks and Rec field before. It'll be the first time we kicked it off today, is looking at an assessment and evaluation of where you are and how we can deploy artificial intelligence to actually help implement some of these or augment and accentuate what can help the staff do what they do better. And our tool is actually called Human. And the idea is that we don't want to use technology to replace people. We want to help find ways to use technology to free up people to do what we need to do, which is be human and connect with others. Right? And so that's part of one of the focus of this as well. In addition to that, with Chris's work, they've captured all the inventory, and we're going to be creating a level of service to document based on population. What is the current level of service? We're also in the process of benchmarking against other park districts for where you currently stand. Looking at the survey results, the priority investment ratings, the benchmarking, the trends. We'll then come up with recommended levels and work with staff to identify which ones make the most sense. Those will then be used to create equity maps to show gaps or overlaps in service areas for every park amenity type as well within the district. That will then be used to identify from a CIP standpoint where you might have a need as well of what that could cost to implement on an ongoing basis, or if it's a D, what is on an urgent basis, right, to have to address as well. And then sometime in January, we'll come back for a visioning process with the staff to ultimately answer the question, so what, now what? So what, we have all this information, We have all this analysis, we have all this input, now what do we do with it? That's where values, vision, mission, priorities, strategic items, etc. will become part of the living document. We'll come to you as well again for your input on that too, to ensure this is aligned with your vision for the future, and ultimately share that with the community in a draft format so they can see their input from the earlier window of time throughout the process to ensure that they see themselves in the plan. So then it's not the consultant's plan, it's not just the staff's plan, it is the community's plan. And that's what we believe will be the best way to get buy-in for the implementation. So over the next 3 to 4 months, the intent is to wrap up all these technical pieces, the visioning, come back to you with the draft of that, and ultimately it's to get the plan adopted and implemented. So with that, happy to answer any questions or comments.
And this is fantastic information. I mean, you know, it's very timely as well. I will ask if we can get this entire deck uploaded, because it wasn't in here and I can't read that far for it. Because I really like to analyze some of these numbers and some of this data that I just couldn't necessarily do that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned AI as a tool. I'm curious what your model is. What's your large language model that you're using to build your AI? Where would you see some, other than customer service or something like that, where else would you see AI being implemented in, you know, in some of these things?
So I'm going to speak to it a bit, and I'm going to call on our expert Sarah as well to speak to that. Where we would want to see it is what we don't know yet. That's what we're asking the staff, where they have the most pain points and where they still want to retain the human touch, right? So in just, you know, an hour or so of a conversation, we identified from HR to finance to RFPs for park respected work as well, to meeting minutes summaries, to just copy for program guides, etc., all being areas that could benefit from some degree of automation or AI, right? So whether it's ChatGPT, or I know some staff use Gemini because you're using Gmail as well, or again using co-pilots, right? And so Microsoft, so all of those could be options. But that's not for us to determine yet. I think once we hear from the staff where their needs are, then we can make some recommendations for that as well. Anything to add, Sarah?
No, I think that was great. That did summarize everything.
I got Sarah's validation. This is good. I'm learning.
Yeah, no, I see that. So, I mean, if you fed it in, like, for instance, you know, all of our grant documents, we can actually create a model that can either analyze, summarize, or create shells and things of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's what you're thinking.
For all your previous
Not
RFPs.
just taking the humans out of it, but
Yes.
allowing them to do their work a little bit better.
And helping us create templates
Right.
that are actionable that we can
Based
plug in.
based on historical models.
Yeah.
Right. Got it.
Consistency and efficiency.
There you go.
And Mr. President, I will speak to the previous point. Allison did ask for the presentation, and we paused to say it's hard to just take the survey results without context, which is why we wanted to first present that to you
Nope, I get it.
and then make it public.
The voiceover makes it really
Yeah.
compelling. and
Yeah.
I would stop listening and just read, so
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Other questions, comments?
Yeah,
It's excellent.
No, nothing further. I thought it was really helpful.
Thank you.
This is great.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Well, best for the holidays and see you next year. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Neela. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. All right. Okay. I'm waiting for the lights to go back on. All right, so we are on item number 10, which is announcements.
Announcement.
Boom. And just when I say that, the lights. get
Great. Well, it's very timely with my first line.
Exactly.
Good evening, Batavia. The air may be getting frosty, but the holiday spirit is just starting to glow with, you know, the lights. So kick off the season with Batavia's classic. That's truly so much fun. It's Celebration of Lights on November 30th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Riverwalk. This free, feel-good event features Batavia's community band, live reindeer, a visit with Santa, the grand tree lighting, Christmas tree lane, wagon rides, holiday story time, and a cozy craft and warming station here at the Callahan Community Center. And if you need a little extra magnificence to warm your hands up, we are selling hot chocolate and apple cider. So now, nothing brings the holiday cheer like gathering with loved ones and socializing. I'm so proud of that one. Nothing melts away the winter blues like time with family and friends. And the Batavia Park District has just the spaces to make your gatherings merry and bright. From intimate rooms to spectacular event spaces, you can host your holiday party, meeting, or celebration without worrying about cleaning your house first. Check out all the rental options online. And as the temperatures drop, Batavians do naturally drift towards one of our beloved winter traditions, the Depot Pond ice skating. When the green flag is waving, lace up your skates and enjoy that classic hometown magic. If you want instant updates, text JOIN Depot Pond Skating, that's all one word, to the main district's number, which is 630-879-5235, and you'll get real-time pond conditions so you can be the first ones to get out on the ice. And that is all for tonight. Keep an eye in your mailbox for the new Winter Spring Fun Guide. Grab your favorite scarf and mittens, and as always, play your way, Batavia.
Awesome, thank you. Item number 11, staff reports.
All right, so we're gonna hit up the opposite side of the room. We're gonna start with Brent, because we love Brent going right after
Katie
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
make it easy tonight with the snow puns.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate that, Katie. So
Lay some numbers on us. Let's do it.
the estimated tax levy is on the agenda for approval tonight. This follows the discussion from our CDP retreat. So just a reminder that this is only the estimate that is on the agenda. So the formal approval of the levy won't take place until December. And the levy request includes a 2.9% allowable percentage for the CPI increase, plus an additional amount for the new construction and the closure of the TIF District 1. And the annual rollover bond payments were made, and Spirit Financial, our financial advisor, they'll be here in February of next year to present the award of the next annual non-referendum rollover for our CDP. And our special board meeting for the budget discussion will take place on December 3rd at this same location at Callahan. So we're looking forward to presenting the 2026 budget to the board.
One of the last bullets here, your cloud backup, you were talking about nightly incremental backup, those are deltas, right? How often, or if you do a full backup ever, like at any time?
That's a good question.
I would suggest periodically doing a complete full backup to make sure nothing's missed.
Yeah.
Because sometimes with deltas and increments, you may miss something. But
Yeah. Certainly.
you can put a point in time.
I'll work with our IT consultant.
Cool, thank you.
All right, thanks, Brent. And Josh.
Yeah, so the last couple weeks we were in a live auction with Auburn Off Auction, trying to auction off a bus and 2 of our work trucks. We were able to auction all 3 off and made about $11,000 on the 3 of them. So we're always happy to get rid of the lightly used equipment. We just yesterday and today finished taking out the kayak launch that was just put in this summer. We had to rent a large telehandler to remove 2 of the docks, and we kind of jacked up the long ramp just to get it out of the water because it's like 40 feet long, and trying to take that out would be a hassle. So we plan on April 1st installation, October 1st roughly for taking out. So, and lastly, we finally received the permit for this building. So very happy to have that part of this project completed, and a few little minor things to do, but you know, we're in a good spot now.
Thanks, Josh. And we've been hosting meetings galore in here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kim.
All right, we just finished and wrapped up a prescribed burn out at Fiddler Farm Park, and that went pretty well. We're going to be, the contractor, Blue Stem Ecological Services, will be going back out there in the next couple weeks to work on some invasive species removal, to do a little bit more work out there around the wetland area. So that'll be good to get that done. And then for the parks, we're wrapping up some items, you know, typical fall cleanup, leaf mulching, cutting back perennials, getting ready for snow. Out in the parks, kind of hitting snow mode time of year, so coming soon, unfortunately. So,
Gearing up.
yep.
All right, moving on to Lynn.
All right, so open enrollment ends this Friday for employees. We had a couple meetings for open enrollment to go over some changes. And employees will be getting that done by Friday, which is great. We did our first round of interviews for the park tech position yesterday, the Zoom interviews. So we'll be doing in-person interviews the week after Thanksgiving. Tomorrow is our first HR Power Hour training. We're going to go over, just for 1 hour, we're going to go over performance reviews for 2025, and then we're going to go over incorporating Paycor for 2026 and the tools that are in Paycor and how can we use those, even though the platform is a third party through Paycor, but we're going to use that. We'll do some training on that. And then on this Friday, we have the Risk Management Institute that half the safety committee will go and attend at Tinley Park Park District.
How'd the Aflac go again this year? I know it was well received last year.
It was, and employees, some employees added on some benefits because they have
so
a
you
couple
got
new things, so
better.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's been very well welcomed.
Yeah, that was
employees.
great addition. That was last year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was last year, yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you. And Katie.
Oh, we're out of order. This is excellent.
Change it up a little.
Changing it up. So I am very proud, and I mentioned it in our board report, but the Batavia Park District's marketing department was asked again to help support the growth and development of local creatives. We have been asked again to participate in the Valleys program, which we do through Wabansie College and a lot of the other high schools. Creative communication specialist Gail Gavoda will be representing the district. Beginning in December, she will be attending a boot camp with just some local creatives in the Batavia area with the high school students. It is a one-day intensive where they go through the importance of typography and graphic design and messaging and branding, which to be honest, near and dear to myself. One of the stickers that I put out on the desk is that we are part of that organization for inspiring future creatives. And we do take a lot of pride in that, and we are very, very thankful that the board supports us to continue outreach into the community. Speaking of outreach into the community, the sponsor decal is also on the table. It is part of our initiative to bridge and build pride with our sponsors for being part of the Park District's family. We are able to do a lot of the amazing things we do at the Park District, especially our special events, because of our community partners, and they're proud to be our community partners. So the decals on the desk are actually clings. This is the second year that we've been doing this, but they will be sent out to all of our sponsors at the beginning of December. So this is just another way for us to show that we are proud of them, but also let them reflect their pride in supporting the districts. That's it.
Thanks, Katie. And Brittany.
Awesome. Katie mentioned Celebration of Lights in her announcement, so thank you. I wanted to just highlight on a couple new additions. So we will be using Callahan, which we're super excited about for our games and our crafts. So we're excited to bring people into this building. And we'll also be offering apple cider, so we're excited for that. And we have our senior club, our kids club, and our New Horizons Play Lab. They all have trees that they decorate right in the front of Pegwine. So just for our participants to go and check those out, we're excited for them to participate. And in my report, I talked about basketball, but I wanted to talk about it again just because numbers have increased even more. So we are at 354 participants, which is 68 more than last year, but we also will be having more start in January for our 1st and 2nd grade league in our kindergarten. So I just want to take the time to thank our volunteers. We couldn't do our programs without them, so we're very excited about the increase in registrations, and we're excited for the kiddos to be over at the gym.
Yeah, I was like 345.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Are you gonna come out of coaching retirement?
We need you, yeah.
And, you know, it was funny because when I read that, I was like, oh, Allison's gonna ask.
And Allison did.
Yeah.
We do need you. You're right.
So, moving on then. Executive Director's Report.
Ah, yes. So kicking off the November report, this will be the last Executive Director's Report of the year because next month I'll be doing the year in review. And then in January I do the looking forward to the upcoming year. So this is kind of the last month. So congratulations to staff and the park board that we were named a Chicago Tribune Top Workplace. It's the people that make the place, and with the board's support, we're able to put in a budget to hire the right people, to get them on the right seat of the right bus. And so truly it's an honor because we can get the word out now. It's no longer a hush-hush surprise. But we did have enough people take the survey, which thank you Lynn and Brittany, who have the most staff. Also Kim in the Parks Department. Those are like, you know, between the quarry and the rec team and Parks Department, I have the most staff. And everyone was able to take the survey. It's anonymous, but that's kind of what landed us here on the map. And we were the only park district this year. And I would like to thank Vice President Julie Larson for representing the park district that night. So it was great to have that support. So you can see we're all smiles that night. We also represented the park district at the State of the Community Address at the Homestead, which is per location. And the Batavia Chamber of Commerce is extremely happy with how that day went. So we're going to keep that format the same for next year. Okay, this is the before picture of the Depot Pond, the water harvesting. You might remember this from last month. This is right before we had Eco-Way water systems come out and their hip waders and the barge, and by hand for 5 days pluck the algae and the duckweed from the pond, and voila, after water harvesting. Now, Katie brought up a good point. This is actually the same vantage point, but it's different. You can tell the season had changed within the month that the picture was taken, so all the leaves have...
Did you put that duck in that picture?
Yeah, I'll go I could feel all the... She might have photoshopped it, I'm not sure. Freshly taken. And it looks like we're missing a couple stones that were along the wall that were there earlier. Oh no, I guess it's the right hand.
Yeah.
Some teeth are missing there. But yeah, complete dramatic difference, night and day, or day and day. But also, as Katie said, we are excited. This just came in the mail today, and in-district registration begins November 24th. Out-of-district registration begins December 1st. Just a reminder to those of you watching at home that the catalog you're going to be getting, this fun guide is actually good for winter and spring, so don't ditch it. Keep it in your living room, bathroom, wherever you want to keep it. It's great reading material, but it's going to last you multiple seasons. So we're down to 3 a year. And now that we know that it's the #1 preferred method of communication, we are still investing all the energy into it. The marketing team does a great job with the recreation team. The recreation team is the product, and we need the product to put in here. And then the stage is set by the facility and parks team. So, and then the HR is the one that helps with the hiring. Together, everybody is just a win-win. And then, of course, we couldn't do it without the budget. So, you know, the purse strings of Brent. So. Or the wallet of Brent, I'm not sure what you carry. But we are able to make it happen, so this is truly a group effort.
And it has always been the #1 that I learned the hard way when I tried to say we can do electronic. And Brittany kept saying, no, it's not #1. They do this she proved it, and that's why I have not said anything since that time.
Actually, for years you would say it.
I said it for years
When I was
until we
working-
did one of these surveys, and it was like,
It was
oh,
like
I'm really,
92%.
yeah, I'm really off on this one.
Yeah, do we have it on recording? Did he say he was wrong?
Yep.
Oh,
Well,
there
I
you
know.
go.
I said it.
Yeah, you did, you
I
did.
said it as soon as we said it. I was like, and I said I will never suggest to get rid of this book again. Yeah.
And then, yeah, stay tuned to see if we end up winning an award for this
Oh,
catalog
in
at the
January.
state
Yeah,
conference.
sure.
We compete against all the other
Which
partnerships.
we have before,
Oh,
right?
you're not going to this?
We've won awards
You have to do
before.
4.
Yes.
Oh.
We did not submit for
We
the, we
disqualified
did not,
ourselves for doing 3 days report.
no, we went with a different option this year.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So,
Sorry.
so,
That's my brief.
to be determined.
Cryptic.
It's cryptic.
All right, as you, oh, whoops, I'm quick to jump here. Actually, I thought this was going to be before Neely, so I was going to say the community needs results are in, and we will be working with the marketing team to push out the information so that way we can share it with everyone that's watching at BATV and those at home that don't have BATV. We want everyone to know what the results are. So we'll be publishing it in our summer fun guide, since that'll be the next guide
Oh,
that comes
cool.
out, right?
Yeah.
In our website, our new website when that comes out. And everyone mark your calendars for Sunday, November 30th. There's going to be free hay rides. We will have the community sing-along, the Christmas tree lane, hot chocolate, crafts inside the Callahan Community Center, and story hour at the Depot Museum. So head on out. And that's a wrap.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, our next topic is new business, which is discussion concerning an amendment of an ordinance 386. This is really an amendment to our existing control of conduct at all of our parks that we want to add in language, I'm sure you all read it, for ice and any of those type of activities. And so I wanted to make sure, and you and I had some discussions with Allison, we wanted to make sure we at least had a discussion about this, to hear any opposing views, any fears, or any supporting views on this. And then next month, if there are any questions or any changes we want to any language, we don't necessarily have to do that now, but you can email individually to Allison, and then she can forward that on to Dirk, and he can change that language. I actually like the language the way it is, but if you wanted any changes, just let her know. So the floor is open for any discussion.
I think it reads well.
One point of clarification I think I would want to ask Dirk about is just whether or not the language regarding warrants, whether or not that needs to state that it should be judicially signed, as opposed to just like a judicial warrant, like indicating if it should be signed by a judge, because there's a difference between an administrative warrant and a judicial signed warrant.
But is there a difference in carrying out that an administrative warrant versus a judicial warrant?
I believe that's what I want to check with him about, is to find out whether
We
or
need to
not that
find
makes a
out what that
difference.
is. Because we already have policies and procedures in place for warrant arrests anywhere in our system, right? So there's,
Yeah.
you know, Dirk and you were saying that we had, you know, you had talked about that with staff and how to deal with that. And so we should make sure we reinforce that to anybody, like if there is a warrant.
There was a training
what
that
has
we've had with
happened?
all staff.
Okay, cool. So anyways, that's what this is. Next month, we will bring a motion to incorporate this. So any changes you want, that question we can get to Dirk and go from there. We don't have an attorney here today, but we, Anika and I talked with Dirk and Allison on a call Friday. So we got a lot of information. Cool. All right. 14B. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. 14B is new business approval of resolution 315, estimating the amount of taxes to be levied for tax year 2025. That's your thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
We know what that is. Is there any questions on that? No? Entertain a motion to approve Resolution 315, estimating the amount of taxes to be levied for property tax year 2025 receivable in calendar year 2026 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Bell, second by Druin. Please call the roll.
Bell.
Aye.
Druin.
Aye.
Slayer. Aye. Tillman.
Aye, motion carries. 14C is IAPD member credentials. Oh, the annual meeting designations.
Julie's not here.
Julie's not here, and we need to have a commissioner to act as a designee and as a second. I mean,
She did it last year.
yeah, but she's not here.
I know, but I don't like that method.
Yeah, but the rest of us do.
Do they?
Yes, I do.
Unless we-
Well, or
nominate the two of you.
if you really are thinking about it, the new people.
I mean, there's an option.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
mean, just, we're talking just the two of us here.
Right.
That the new people, I'm thinking.
Tell me a little more about what this is.
I know, sure.
You notice how we never actually tell you what it is until you actually have to go.
Yes.
So we have our IAPD IPRA state conference, and it's the last week in January, and I think it's still the last week in January.
Yes.
And so the Park District is encouraging all commissioners to attend, and you'll be staying the night, attending sessions by day, and there is an IAPD business meeting on Saturday. It's early afternoon, and we need a representative from the Park District to vote on our behalf, or at least to be in attendance to show representation for the entire district. So I think it's like at 2 or 2:30.
Yeah, it's typically around like middle afternoon.
And where is this?
It's
again?
downtown. It's
Oh,
at a
okay.
hotel downtown.
Yep,
And so there's like a lunch on Friday, and there's seminars and stuff all day on Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yep.
Thursday? Yeah.
Yep, 29.
So, it's great fun. I had a ball. I would do it myself, but I don't want to deprive you guys.
It's a great,
Of
actually,
being
it's
able
a
to
great
do it.
opportunity.
What is the date of it?
What day do you,
The
are you busy?
31st, Saturday.
You go
the 31st.
first.
What is it?
Saturday the 31st.
I was gonna say, I've got GAL training.
It's a great opportunity to meet other commissioners from different park districts.
On 30th.
Oh.
You're saying
Of
it's
January?
Thursday, or you're saying it's Friday?
It's on Saturday, it actually, yeah.
Of January.
Yeah, January. And the 30th is actually the luncheon.
That's the luncheon, that's the Friday.
That we encourage everybody to attend to.
I would be able to do the luncheon because it's my daughter's birthday.
She can come too.
She would love it.
What a great way to celebrate a birthday.
Downtown.
Yeah, right? Right?
And bring my children, because my husband's working. Probably not.
But you'll get to meet other commissioners from other agencies.
We could keep selling it.
Yeah, I just what I was gonna say. Can we do like this? 1, 2, 3.
Well, we need a primary and a secondary, actually.
Some
But only
red
one
mango chicken
attends.
Not only one at 10, but I'm looking in your general direction over here.
Maybe.
The unfortunate thing is that if they go, that means it circles back to like me next year, right?
However the president wants to do it.
And, you know, maybe, I don't know, but,
I can't do that, but I could potentially do Saturday if I could get some lunch for kids.
yeah, all this is for Saturday, by the way.
Okay, sorry, I overheard language about Friday also.
Friday is just an invitation for the lunch.
Oh, it's actually at 3:30 p.m. is the
Oh.
business meeting.
Yeah, it's at 3:30.
They moved it
On the Saturday?
On the Saturday.
31st.
Okay.
So right in that sweet spot of a good Saturday thing to do.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You're not doing
right.
anything at 3, you're falling asleep. Might as well go downtown, put on a meeting.
Can I say tentatively that I would volunteer as tribute, but I first need to make sure I can have somebody
Well, that's
be
why
there for my
there's-
kids, because my husband
that's
is
why
working
there's
that
two
day, so
people.
I can't.
That's why there's 2
Sure.
people that you guys
Do you want to,
can rock,
would you like to
paper,
be the
scissors.
alternate just in case?
So can we put down
Perhaps.
Druin and Slayer as primary and alternate, and then you guys can figure it out?
I love how we're like, Amanda, did you say your daughter's birthday was that day?
Well, it's Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday's probably the day that we celebrate. But I could do.
So, you know, so then
A
like, it's like,
Friday.
you know, it's my daughter's birthday that you're ruining, you know.
Okay,
So-
hold on a second.
I'll be a backup if you be the primary.
I can do that.
So I don't want the guilt of the birthday
Thank you.
thing, 'cause
I'm
that's,
sorry.
it's gonna
I know.
happen, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be like, we had all these things planned, but I had to go downtown. So entertain a motion to appoint Commissioner Druin as designee and Commissioner Tillman as alternate to represent the Batavia Park District as voting members during the annual meeting of Illinois Association of Park Districts.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Bell, second by Druin, quickly before she changes her mind.
Bell.
Aye.
Druin.
I
Slayer.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you.
never say I'm not a team player.
All right, yeah, hey.
I'll email you more information. about
Please,
the
yeah, because I do
conference.
need to double check on getting somebody to.
Yeah.
Hey, look, send the kids over to my
I
house.
could send them to,
We'll
yeah.
party the whole time.
Careful what you ask for.
No. Linda would love it. They'd come back full. They would not eat another thing at your house. She would feed them all
Should
day.
just feed them, okay.
All right, so that is everything. We don't have an executive session today. Is there any more business to come before the board? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I've already took my mom.
Motion by Bell, second by Druin. Please call the roll.
Bell.
Aye.
Druin.
Aye.
Slayer. Aye. Tillman.
Aye, motion carries. We are adjourned at 8:21. Thank you, everybody.